Hi, this is Rabbi Young. Thank you for tuning in to our weekly video email. I've been thinking this week a lot about the Book of Esther, especially because we are about to read it together as a community next week, Wednesday evening, March 20th at 7 p.m., 21 and over, please. At 7 p.m., we're going to be reading Megillah, have a short Purim service, and then the classic rock Purim spiel, which should be a lot of fun. Also, we think at this time of year about the Book of Esther in preparation of reading it, but I've been thinking in particular about chapter 4, verse 13, where Mordechai is talking to Esther, telling Esther that Haman plans to kill all the Jews. And at first he says, you gotta do something, and she says, I don't wanna. And she says she's afraid to go to the king because if she's not summoned, then she could die. And he says, do not imagine that you of all the Jews will escape with your life by being in the king's palace. On the contrary, if you keep silent in this crisis, relief and deliverance will come to the Jews from another quarter, while you and your father's house will perish. And who knows, perhaps you attain to royal position for just such a crisis. Mordechai is lecturing her on two things. First, he is showing her that he has faith that God will get the Jews out of this conundrum, whether or not Esther is the vehicle through which they were saved. He doesn't specifically say the word God because God doesn't appear at all in the Book of Esther by name, but there is an implication here. You know, Mordechai is a learned Jew. He knows what happens in the Bible when the Jews get into trouble. God gets them out. And so he says, we're going to be okay, but... And then this is where he, on the New York subway, it says, if you see something, say something. And from various police departments across the nation, if you see something, say something. But in the Jewish world, the same sentiment is expressed by the phrase, do not stand idly by while your neighbor bleeds. And so he's saying, do not stand idly by. He's saying, perhaps you have attained royal position for just such a purpose. Not only is it the right thing to do, but maybe you're the right person to do it. And I would suggest this is a lesson for all of us. We do a lot of backstage punditry when we're commenting on social media on various things. We do a lot of commentaries from the couch where no one will hear our words except for the people who are next to us. But Mordechai has a very important critique for Esther. He says you need to do it, and you might be the only one to do it. And his message is a message of action for her. And she needs to take action and say to the king, hey, I see something, and I'm saying something. This is how I'm going to save my people, by telling you what Haman has planned for us. And it works. And all of Haman's plans are turned upside down, and Esther saves the kingdom. And perhaps we have a unique situation like that somewhere in our lives. Maybe we have something where we are the only person who can call out a friend who's doing something wrong, or contact someone with power in our political system, because we know that they could fix whatever problem we see in the world if only they would step up and do the help. It is our responsibility as citizens of the world to be a part of the process, to not stand idly by, to say something when we see something, and to know that perhaps we were born just for that purpose. May you find all of your purposes realized this week. Have a great week. We'll see you soon, hopefully on Purim, if not sooner. Take care.